Okay, I thought we would explore something together. I don't know about you, but I seldom see the Joker used in card magic. And I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. I think it's because the Joker is sometimes helpful and other times it simply makes a mess of things. Okay, so I think a lot of card magicians just don't want to take that chance. Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take that chance. Okay, so as you can see here, I have 8 cards of various card values, suits, and colors. Okay, so I'll go ahead and gather these. Now, since we both kind of saw the cards, why don't we give them a little mix here? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal out half of them and put the Joker in the middle. Okay, there we go. Now from here, I'm going to mix the cards with input from you. So let's begin with dealing out the cards into 3 piles, random stacking from right to left or left to right. Your choice. Left to right? Okay. Why don't we do another one of those into 3 piles. Okay. Right to left this time. That's just fine. And why don't we do a third one? How would you like the cards stacked this time? Right to left. Okay. Now, something I haven't done in my recent videos involving this new stay stack principle that I've been sharing with the world, I'm actually going to deal out the cards into 2 piles. Okay. Now, that's despite the fact that 2 is not a divisor of 9. 2 does not divide evenly into 9, but we're going to do it nonetheless. Okay. How would you like these stacked? Right on left? Okay. Now, as a note to you as the performer, you can do as many of these with random stacking, maybe they want left on right, as many of these as the spectator calls for. You truly can. Okay, maybe right on left again. Okay. Why don't we do just one more? So as many dealing out into 2 piles. What about now? Left to right? Okay, very good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just spread out the cards like so. And then calling for help from the Joker, I'm going to try to bring a bit of order to the chaos I'm sure we've created with all of these random choices made by you, actually. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cards right there, and I'm going to pick these up, and I'm going to perform the Klondike Shuffle, which leaves me with a single card. That's kind of interesting. I'll do the same thing here, Klondike Shuffle, okay? Now, what I'm hoping for is the Joker, in our case, is helpful instead of creating a mess. Okay. Well, first off, what is this card right here? Oh, it's the Joker. Okay. Well, let's see if he was helpful. Okay, let's check this out. Oh, well, I don't know. That could be helpful. Depends on what you're wanting. Ooh, I think I know what we're trying to do here. Oh, boy. Yes, indeed. Check that out. So the Joker here proved to be helpful by simply getting out of the way, as it has here. Okay. So look at that. We were able to accomplish a perfect matching of the 4 distinct suits. Okay, so thank you, Joker, for helping us do that by just getting out of the way, right? Because if he had been in here, it wouldn't have helped, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, so as always, we'll use a fairly transparent packet structure so that we can see what's really going on. Okay, so what I began with, and you can check this, I began with a 2 cycle relative to card suit. Now, this is a 2 cycle relative to card value. So, for example, there's a repeating pattern, ace 2 3 4, and then ace 2 3 4. In the original performance, there was a pattern of, let's say, clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. Okay, so the suits kind of cycled. Okay, well, what did I do from there? I picked this up. Because this is cyclic, you can perform random cuts or Charlier shuffles, as many as you would like, and I can add a link in the description below to Charlier shuffles if you want to learn that. But all of that movement of the cards here is really just equivalent to cutting the cards at some location. So let me just show you that it's still Oh boy, we got all the way back. That was pretty lucky. Let's cut it somewhere else to show the point here. Okay, so now the repeating pattern is 4, ace, 2, 3, 4, ace, 2, 3. So it's still cyclic. Okay, now what did I do from there? I just dealt out 1, 2, 3, 4. Reverses the order of those cards. I put the joker here, and then I drop the rest on top. Well, if you've studied principles on my channel, you'll know that this is now a mirrored packet or structure. What does that mean? The outer ones are kind of like paired together. Here, the pairing we're looking for is cards of the same value. Okay, in the performance, it was cards of the same suit, but here it's value. So 4, ace, 2, 3, and the joker in the middle. So this is a mirrored packet. Now from here, we can actually use this new stay stack principle that I've discovered for odd size packets. So in particular, for each divisor of the packet size, and 3 is a divisor of 9, we have 9 cards here, that means you can deal out the cards into 3 piles with random stacking from left to right, right to left, as many times as you like. And it won't change the fact that it has that structure. Why don't we do one more, and then I'll show you what we have. So maybe we'll do left to right again. That's fine. Okay, so is it true that the joker's still in the middle, for one, and that there's a mirrored relationship between the other cards? Well, there is. There's a 4, ace, 2, 3 joker in the middle. Okay, so that's by the new stay stack principle that I'll add a link in the description below so you can look that up. Okay, now what's new today that I've never shown on my channel, and this is something I've discovered very recently. For this packet of 9 cards, we can also do the following, which is amazing. We can actually deal out the cards into 2 piles with random stacking decided by the spectator. Maybe they want right on left, okay? And we can truly do, or just like they're dealing out into 3 piles with stacking from left to right or right to left, you can do any number of those, 5 billion of them. The same sort of thing here. We can deal out into 2 piles. So that is new. And the point here is that 2 is not a divisor of 9. So we really shouldn't expect this to work necessarily, at least not by this new stay stack principle. So maybe they want right on left, okay? So let me tell you what's going to happen, okay? And there's a whole bunch of possibilities, but they're all easy to deal with once I explain the underlying principle, okay? So if we spread these out, okay, looks like we got the same kind of structure that we got before. And you might wonder, how could I possibly know that? Okay, so here is one of the secrets, okay? Now, this is just a presentational device that I chose to use for this particular routine, okay? So if you don't want to use this, or you have another way of accomplishing this, that's great. But what I chose to do is I chose to surreptitiously mark. Can you see how I have little dots in the corners here? That's the joker. The joker's right there, okay? And so I made it pretty obvious on the screen so that you can see it. In practice, you'd make this mark subtle enough that you can see it, but really no one else is going to notice it unless they just stare at the cards and compare them, okay? So I've marked the joker so I can see it. Now, let me tell you what will always be the case, okay? So the joker being here tells me the following. There's 1 card above it, of course, and so it must be that 1 card below it is in a mirrored relationship with the card above. Okay, let me just show you that that's the case first. So we have a 3, joker, 3, right? So that's in a mirrored relationship, right? So for example, if there had been 2 cards over here, then the joker, then I would know that the top 5 cards, including the joker, would be in a mirrored relationship. So pretend another card's here. So I have 1, 2 below the joker, 1, 2 above. These 2 above and the 2 below would be in a mirrored relationship. So like on either end, they'd be like aces, come in one, be threes, and then the joker. Okay, so no matter where the joker is, you can actually deduce the structure of the packet. Okay, and so being here, I know there's one above it. That means if I take one below it, this will be like a little mirrored packet. Now, the amazing thing is the remaining cards are guaranteed to be a mirrored structure. Isn't that wonderful? So because of that, we could have done so much more than I did, right? Because this is a traditional even size mirrored packet, okay? So the ordinary stay stack principle applies to this packet. So for example, what I could have done is I could have dealt this out into 2 piles, random stacking, because 3 is a divisor. We have 6 cards here. 3 is a divisor of 6. I could have dealt out into 3 piles, stacking from left to right to left, and so forth, and it would, quote, still be mirrored, okay? Now, I decided not to do any of that because I think it would just overwhelm people. But the fact is, once you know that this is mirrored, you can take advantage of all of your knowledge that I've shared with you on my channel. Okay, so this is a mirrored packet. This is, quote, mirrored with the joker in the middle. Well, what's a really cool, slick way of bringing pairs together? If we have a mirrored packet and kind of a mirrored odd size packet, well, if we just do the Klondike, this takes the bottom, top off as 1. Those are going to be the same values, which they are. We have this lone little card here. We know it's the joker. And then over here, I know this is mirrored. So I can just Klondike a pair, knowing that they're going to match in the way that I set up. Same thing here and same thing here. So in the original performance, these would simply be cards in each pair of the same suit, same suit, same suit, and the same thing here, the same suit. Here it's the same value because those are the pairings that we chose to work with. And of course, this is guaranteed to be the joker. And so I just made a joke of the fact that the joker helped us clean up the mess from all of the mixing that we did by simply getting out of the way. It didn't get involved at all. It just kind of went off on its own, and the cards took care of themselves from there. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of a brief view of the secret behind it. So I encourage you to take a look at the new Stay Stack principle, and I'll have it linked in the description below. I will also link in the description below the traditional Stay Stack principle, which applied to this packet of 6 cards that I had, right? Where it was mirrored, okay? And so that's the one where for each divisor of that packet size, you can deal it into that many cards with stacking from left to right or right to left, okay? And if you really want to understand a lot of these structures, I encourage you to take a look at the Improv Card Magic series because you'll learn about AMP structures, 2 cycles, and mirrored structures. And so I can also add a link in the description below. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.